no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
How we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Wednesday to you here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com, coming to you from the Western Collective Studios. Hope you picked up that Horseshoe Golden Ale of the Orange Chaos Seltzer at Albertson Stadium on Saturday, and mixing up the schedule a little bit today. Sorry for the late start. I'm on carpool duty today. My wife's out of town, and also Brad Bedell had a conflict, so he switched with Johnny for tomorrow. So a lot going on, little shuffling, little late start, but Johnny, appreciate it. How you doing?
Good, man. Big day for me. Start the day here on BNN with BNN Live, and we'll finish tonight with Ball Talk with Coach Sanford. So big day for me filling in for Coach Bedell. It'll be nice to have tomorrow off, whatnot. So fired up. There's a bunch of stuff we got to talk about, isn't there?
No doubt. We've already got almost 100, literally almost 94 comments already waiting in the YouTube chat for us. So a lot of folks are excited and fired up about this team, fired up about Ashton Jeanty, fired up about Gonzaga and Pac-12 realignment and this team as they continue to push towards a hopeful Mountain West championship and spot in the playoff, and kind of creeped up on, us this week, Johnny, that, there's so many bigger goals and things or whatever, but this is the conference opener on Saturday. Mountain West play starts, Utah State, and, you want to get to the CFP, you got to win your conference and got to win your championship game, and to get there, you got to take care of business starting here on Saturday.
What is it, 7 consecutive conference games, and then you finish with Oregon State, I believe, BJ?
Yep.
So, yeah, here we are. Boise State in conference play, 25-point favorites in the opener over Utah State, a team, I believe, has beat Boise State once in the last however many years. That was the turnover fest in Logan in 2015. I think that's the only time Utah State has won since then. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. That was Spencer Danielson's debut last year also. His first game as interim head coach was at Utah State.
You're right. And Utah State, it's funny, like they finally get to say, oh, thank you. No more George Halani, right? Now, like, well, who's real? Oh, dang it. Jeanty, like they can't catch a break with Boise State running backs, have had a lot of success against this Utah State defense. Holy smokes. I mean, the way Ashton Jeanty is playing this entire offense, averaging over 500 yards per game. They are 7th in the nation. And this is not even a perfect project yet. This offense is still getting better. They're still putting pieces to the puzzle together every week to be what they hope to be at one point in the season, a completed, perfect, close to perfect product that can hopefully get this team in a CFP playoff game, BJ. So, yeah, it's a 25-point game, conference opener. I wonder if the fans are going to be staying. If it is out of hand, feels like they like this team, and there's this infatuation, there's this affection going on between the program Spencer Danielson has and Bronco Nation. I think that I would say maybe there's a shot this year, BJ. People stay in that stadium a little bit longer than they used to, especially during big Boise State blowouts.
Yeah, I said this yesterday with Jay Tuss, but we made so much talk about the Washington State crowd and how great that was and the record-setting crowd and the students stay until the fourth quarter. But I want to see him back it up again on Saturday. 5 o'clock game, another sellout. You're coming in as almost four touchdown favorites. Like, yeah, what kind of atmosphere are we going to have? I don't think it's going to be as close. I mean, it's different when there's the light show and it's night and it's just all day. And so the 5 o'clock's a little earlier from that standpoint, but I am very curious to see what kind of crowd, what kind of tailgating scene. I mean, I don't know what time you got down there, Johnny, but when I was down there, 1 o'clock, whatever it was 4 o'clock, I guess, for an 8 o'clock kickoff. Was down there about 4:30. And I've never in my 12 years here seen the roads and the tailgates and the bars and the parking lots as crowded as they were 4 hours till kickoff. It was insane down there around the stadium. And I am kind of curious to see what the atmosphere and crowd are like for Utah State.
I think it's 10 years since this program's played in a major bowl game. They sense it. It's the best player maybe they've ever seen in this program. They want to see it. They get it. This is the last year you're going to see all this stuff. If you're ever going to go to a game, this is the year to go. All this stuff, the light show, like you mentioned, just what Jeremiah Dickey's putting into this thing. The fans are showing, okay, we get it. We're excited. And this fan base is hungry, BJ. They want to matter again. Haven't been ranked since COVID. They're ranked again. They're in the mix. People are talking about Boise State football nationally more than I've heard in the last 5, 6, 7 years, right, BJ? Like, they're kind of a part of the conversation, not as much as they had been. Obviously, that will never be the case again, in my opinion, where they're a top 5 team multiple years in a row. But, if they get back into the mix and certainly locking up or making a run or at least being the clubhouse leader for the G5 playoff spot, they're going to stay in that conversation. And Ashton Jeanty is probably, he's the most exciting player to watch in America. I mean, Travis Hunter does go both ways, so he is constantly out there making plays, but nobody's making the level of plays that Ashton Jeanty has made. BJ, I've probably watched every one of his big touchdown runs, 200 times. I just sit there on my phone and they're everywhere, and it's not like I'm going to keep scrolling. I'll watch it again. He's the most exciting player to watch in the country. So I think that's what's all adding into that crock pot, BJ, of all these fans showing up in the scene that Albertson Stadium has become. And for me, I don't think it's about the opponent anymore. And a lot of people have said that a long time about their teams. It's not about who you play. You're there to see your team. And that was never really the case here. This fan base, it was about who they played. This fan base didn't like the schedule a lot of years. And I don't think that's the case anymore because they want to see this team.
Yeah, not only this team, but in particular Ashton Jeanty. And he's become can't miss stuff. You can't take your eyes off him. Anytime he's on the field, there's the anticipation of what he might do. And, we talked a little bit yesterday at the end of the show. Me and Jay spent most of the time talking about the realignment stuff. We brought up Ashton at the end. But, Johnny, you look at the numbers he's on pace for right now. You factor in a championship game and some sort of bowl game or playoff game, a 14-game season. He's on pace for 2,957 yards. He's on pace for 45 touchdowns. And both of those, including the yards mark, would pass Barry Sanders' single season rushing yard. I mean, right now, again, it's 4 games in. There's 14 total. You got 10 games to go. I get it, but at his current pace, 20% or whatever into the season, Ashton Jeanty is on pace to break Barry Sanders' single season all-time rushing record. I know we were at Media Days. Bob, Prater, you and me kind of had the exclusive down there with Ashton Jeanty in his makeshift media day hotel room. And he said 2,000 yards. And that was so out there that you and others, I think, thought he meant 2,000 all-purpose yards. And he meant 2,000 rushing yards. And now, not only are we saying that's attainable, that seems almost likely at this point. He wants 2,628, the all-time single season record. Do you give him any shot if he can stay healthy and play 14 games here to make history and pass Barry Sanders?
Well, he's ahead of the pace. You know, he has more rushing yards after 4 games than Barry did. Barry has 11
games, by the way. Don't forget. He only got 11 games.
Yeah. I'm not here to say Ashton Jeanty is a better college running back than Barry Sanders. No, it's the best college running back ever, and the stats prove it. His career proves it. The fact that he's even in this breath says something about Jeanty. I've been on sports radio not a long time, but ever since I've been in the business, Barry in 1988 has always been the standard for the college football eye-popping statistical season. It was the Roger Maris 61 home runs until Mark McGuire came. You know, it's that stat. It's that year. It's unattainable. It's just sometimes I'll go to his page on Pro or on College Football Reference, and I'll just look at Barry Sanders in 1988 and just my jaw drops. You're right, 11 games. He didn't get the bowl game on there. They didn't count bowl games then. And I think Barry probably had, he played Wyoming in that bowl game, if I remember, the Holiday Bowl in 88. Probably had 300 rushing in that game too. But yeah, Ashton Jeanty is already on pace, BJ, and he gets 2 extra games more than likely. I think I crunched the numbers, and I think it was 211 rushing yards per game if he averages here on out. He'll break Barry's record in the 14th game, and if it does, that's going to happen in a CFP playoff game where the whole stinking college football world is watching. And then all of a sudden, if it does happen at some point in that game, oh yeah, well, Ashton Jeanty, he just broke Barry Sanders' single season record. People will say, well, that's why he won the Heisman, or people will say that's why he should have won the Heisman. All that stuff will be in there if, in fact, he stays healthy. This offense keeps doing what it needs to do. This team keeps on winning. There's so many things that have to happen, but if we're playing the look-ahead game on that, yeah, Ashton Jeanty's got a massive shot to track this down, but a lot has to happen, BJ. It'll be fun to see if he does, or it'll be fun to see if he doesn't, right? I'm buying Ashton Jeanty whatever I can right now.
Speaking of looking ahead, Double O'Neill's already saying that he's only a junior and he's got another year. Yeah. He says he might want to get a taste of that championship and want to come back.
The only way I could ever see him coming back, ever, would be if there is another college football program that's going to say, we're going to give you $5 million to play college football for us next year. That's more than you'll make year one of your NFL rookie contract if you're not drafted in the first round, I believe. Maybe even if you are, I have to see what mid to late first round picks are getting year one. If a college team can just blow it out of the water financially, maybe. But no, Ashton Jeanty, we've talked to him. He wants to go to the league. He said it. This is it for me. He wants to stay at Boise State. He doesn't want to play for another college. We know that. I mean, $5 million, it would have to be something like that, but that's not going to happen. I just talked myself out of my own scenario. Ashton Jeanty is going to go to the combine. He's going to tear it up like nobody I have ever seen. I cannot wait to see Ashton Jeanty at the combine with the running and the jumping and the lifting and the strength. He's just going to dominate that combine. All that stuff. Yeah, BJ. Yeah, he's got another year, man. Yeah.
I was just thinking, this may be the first time I have to go cover the NFL scouting combine in February. If Jeanty's there, maybe Hassanin as well. But what about New York? What do you think the chances are of, we keep talking about this, but if you read Mike Prater's column, and I highly recommend it, folks should go to BroncoNationNews.com, just posted within the last hour, the newest Mike Prater column. It's on Ashton Jeanty, his outlook and the Group of Five history and what it's saying about Ashton Jeanty being a Heisman candidate or not. And again, Johnny, I know a lot of people know this, but a couple of brief history from Mike Prater's article here. I'm not going to give away the whole article, but a couple stats. Only 3 running backs have won the Heisman this century. Can you name the 3?
Reggie Bush, Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry.
Okay, there you go. 05, Reggie Bush at USC, Mark Ingram in 2009 at Alabama, Derrick Henry 2015 at Alabama. 5, and maybe you guys already talked about this on your show, and so that's why you know the answers to this, but the 5 Group of 5 players to have been invited to New York as a finalist this century. Do you know the 5 players invited to New York as a finalist? The 5 Group of 5 players, none in the last 10 years, by the way. The last one was 2013. But this century, 5 players from Group of 5 schools invited to New York as a Heisman finalist. Any guesses?
I mean, we've Kellen, obviously, Jordan Lynch at Northern Illinois, I think, had an invite.
Yep.
Yeah,
2013, Northern Illinois.
It was G5 players.
2 of the schools are now Power 5. They're represented.
Ooh, okay. I don't know that. You
Damian Tomlinson at TCU in 2000, Alex Smith at Utah in 2004, and Colt Brennan, Hawaii, in 2007. So again, in the last 24 years, you've only had 5 players from Group of 5 schools be finalists to make it to New York. And again, since Derrick Henry, you mentioned in 2015, Mike Prater points out there have been 31 finalists invited to New York since 2015. Only 1 running back since 2015 has been even invited to New York as a Heisman Trophy finalist. So a lot of good stuff in Mike Prater's column. But again, Johnny, part of his column talks about how it seems like he's breaking through, though. He's breaking through that Group of 5 mold, and he's playing with the big boys. He's hanging with the big boys in terms of the betting odds and the talk and everyone's finalist list at this point. Do you think there's any Group of 5 stigma left on Ashton Jeanty, or has he done enough where it looks like he's just one of the best running backs in the country, regardless of where he's going to school?
It does kind of remind me of LaDainian Tomlinson in 2000 with TCU. I mean, everybody in college football then you knew of LaDainian Tomlinson because you saw his runs. With social media and technology now, like everybody sees Jeanty's runs. And if you know what you're looking at or you follow football, you know how spectacular they are. And no one else in America right now is putting together this type of highlight package week in, week out. They're not putting up the stats either. Does that help maybe that he is a Group of 5 and now that people watch more because they're not watching necessarily games, but they're just seeing the highlights on their phone constantly? Maybe in the past, the G5 players, they weren't there because they weren't seen. And stats aren't enough. If a Heisman voter or whatever looks at some dude's stats from a G5, they don't care. Group of 5 stats are just stats. What's this? But with Jeanty, it's like, dude, I've seen that guy. Wow. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Those are his stats. And I mean, as great as those running backs we've all mentioned were, none of them were tracking down Barry Sanders in 1988, other than Christian McCaffrey and some all-purpose stuff, because McCaffrey returned kicks and punts. So he got a ton of just all-purpose yardage. Jeanty doesn't have that, but none of those running backs have tracked down this type of season. I don't know if it's different or not. You're right. Running backs don't really get to go to this thing. I think it tells me if he does just get the invite, BJ, that's almost a win in itself, man, right? Just getting an invite as a running back is breaking through and is pretty special. So hopefully, if he does just get that invite, people will be able to appreciate that for what it is. Now, of course, if he doesn't win the Heisman, they'll be upset about that. But you know what? He probably, I don't know. I would say right now he probably won't win the Heisman, but I would say right now he probably will be invited because he's got this national buzz with him too. And my gosh, BJ, if we were just going to sit here on the highlight package and the plays he has now, cool. Dude, there's more coming. Sure. Every single game, there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 more of these freaking runs, man. You can't tackle him. You can't catch him from behind. He will jump over your ass. You can't do anything about this. And he's playing 7 consecutive Mountain West defenses. Dude, like there's more coming. We haven't probably seen the best of him yet. If I said, okay, Ashton Jeanty has had his best game of the year so far, I wouldn't say, yeah, done. I'd say probably not, man. Let's see what he does next week.
People on the chat are talking about if he wins the Heisman, he needs to get a statue next to Lyle Smith. Would it be the Heisman pose, or I think an Ashton Jeanty statue would be him hurtling over somebody?
Yeah, I said Ashton Jeanty winning the Heisman would be like the most magnificent thing ever in this program, and I got shattered for it for all the Fiesta Bowls and all that.
I think it would have to be a statue of him hurtling somebody if he ever got one. That's kind of his thing, where he hurdles over.
Jeanty's statue would totally be the hurdle. Yeah, well said. Yes.
Now, but the problem is, Johnny, I mean, you mentioned 24-point favorites. A lot of those Kellen Moore records, as we all know, would have been even better if he played in the third and fourth quarters of a lot of those games. How do you see, and again, Dirk Cutter kind of scoffed at my question when I asked, but how do you see his production, the team being way ahead, his pursuit of history playing into his usage here down the stretch in a lot of these games where they're going to be big-time favorites?
I don't see it being a problem because, I mean, we see what this dude can do with the touches he gets. Ashton Jeanty isn't the dude who needs 27 touches for the stats to show up, right? He can do that on half of that if the game flows. I mean, the guy can seriously take it to the house on every play. And if you don't mind your P's and Q's, if you don't set the edge, you are completely and totally screwed with this kid. Chuck Pagano was saying that yesterday on Idaho Sports Talk. Watch plays where the edge isn't set properly. It's like the worst nightmare for a defense ever. Ashton Jeanty with an unset edge, because he can just run past you, he can run over you, he can jump over you, he can spin, he can stiff arm your ass, and you ain't catching him from behind. And more of that is coming, BJ. Ashton Jeanty, I think if he gets his normal load, I think the stats will come with it. Maybe there's a game where he does play into the fourth quarter and he gets 30 touches. That might be a massive record-setting day. Or teams figure him out a little bit. Teams figure out what's going on a little bit, and they do limit him more. They contain him more than we've seen. I don't know.
All right, let's move on. I got a couple other topics I want to get to in the limited time that we have left, but I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors real quick. Our studio sponsor is Western Collective. Make sure you pick up the Horseshoe Golden Ale and their new Orange Chaos Seltzer at Albertson Stadium on Saturday for the Utah State game. I've heard rave reviews about the Orange Chaos Seltzer, and I can't wait to check it out myself. And it's available here shortly at most major retailers in town as well. Our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, check out our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Again, concrete coatings. We've done it twice in the Rains family and very highly recommend it. Transform that ugly-looking concrete slab in one day, whether it be your backyard, your basement, your back patio, your garage. Check them out online, rowpaint.com. ICCU, Idaho Central Credit Union. Tyson Degenhart Show will be back during the bye week, so make sure you're ready for that. ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner with the eBranch mobile, eBranch online banking on that app on your smartphone is, of course, the easiest and the best. So check them out online, ICCU.com. Matt Bauscher, now part of the Boise State home team. I think he's the official realtor now of Boise State, so check him out. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, Bauscher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 locations around the state of Idaho. Find one near you at shopridleys.com. You looking for a spa for the back patio, pool table, game for the game room, a sauna? They got you covered at Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Been around since 1978, part of the Boise State home team. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Check them out online, thespateam.com. And this is Truck Month at Lithia Ford of Boise. And don't forget, on the bye week, Johnny, October 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can meet Jonah Dalmas, Matt Lauder, Ahmed Hassanin, and Andrew Simpson. They'll be making an appearance at Lithia Ford of Boise on October 19th, the Saturday of the bye week from 11 to 2. So make sure you check out Lithia Ford Boise October 19th from 11 to 2, and you can hang with our guys from Lithia Ford to Boise and the NIL guys there. All right, Johnny, we got a couple of voicemails I want to get to. Again, folks can leave voicemails, speakpipe.com/BNN on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line, and we're having some fun with this. You know, you can express your opinions in the comments, but if you'd like, you can express your comments and thoughts and questions with your voice, leaving a voice message to speakpipe.com/BNN. And we got a couple. Let's go with the defense first. There's two related to the quarterbacks. There's one on the defense here. So, John Mallory, this is the Signature Roofing voice inbox. And let's go to BSU Bill.
Hey, BJ, BSU Bill here. Question about the secondary, but before that, just an observation. I think a guy that should get talked about a lot more is Rodney Robinson. I think he's been maybe our best DB this year. But overall, that package that Shenander's running out there, where I think it's like 6 DBs, especially on passing downs, I think is giving offenses a ton of issues. And that's where he can generate some pretty creative blitz packages and get guys like Rodney Robinson off the edge, which causes problems with all that speed. So an observation there, but my question is, though, regarding the second corner position, do you think it's time to make a switch off of Irby and throw Devon Banks in there for more reps? I think McCoy's been great. He's been locked down. I feel like he almost never gets targeted, which means he's doing something right. But through 4 games, I know Irby was a guy you guys all liked, and he did some good stuff in camp. But I think through 4 games, it's fair to say he's been pretty underwhelming. Banks, as we know, is a guy with big-time experience at UW. So me personally, I'm not sold on Irby. I'd like to see Banks get some more run, but curious your guys' take. Thanks.
I appreciate it, BSU Bill. Yeah, Rodney Robinson deserving a lot of love, having a great year, Johnny. And yeah, they're doing that dime package, 6 DBs, and Tubner and Oladipo and Robinson, and some of these guys are getting more of a chance to rush the passer and do some things. And it's a defense that's worked really well for him for the most part. So kudos to Rodney, but also he wants Banks over Irby. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like what Coach Shenander's doing. I like this defensive philosophy. They're heavy dime. I went back, watched this game again last night, TV copy, so I can't see everything. I got to talk to somebody to hook me up with some all 22s, BJ, but they run a lot of dime, dude, and they blitz all the time off of it. Like, they don't blitz the linebacker. They'll have him in coverage, but they'll blitz a secondary player coming off the edge, and it's working, man. Rodney Robinson, he's a good tackler. You know, he's not going to miss a quarterback, and he's done a good job with his pass rush. I love what Rodney's playing in this new role, and yeah, he probably deserves to get some more snaps. I'm with BSU Bill on Jeremiah Irby. I don't know if I feel duped there, but man, the kid was really, really good in spring and fall, man. He was like better than McCoy. You know, I thought that was such a hit, and maybe it still is. Maybe it still is. I don't know. But I know Banks has made some plays out there. You need them both. I don't know if you just want to flip roles, but Irby got beat again over the top last week.
He doesn't turn around very often. That's what I don't get.
I'm with you, man. And that's a coaching decision with Shenander and Coach Warren on that. But Jeremiah Irby hopefully can play much better down the stretch. They'll need him to. And other than that, though, I like Rodney Robinson. I was hoping to talk to him this week. They didn't make him available to the media, BJ. I requested him today, didn't get him. Requested him yesterday, didn't get him. And I thought they'd make him available because he's a great talker and he's a good representative of this program. And he's having a hell of a year. And we're all here scrapping for stories. You know, we can't all necessarily talk about the same thing all the time in this town. We got to get different subjects here and there. So can't wait to talk to Roddy when we can get him. But back to the dime stuff too, real quick. Yeah, they're doing a lot of new stuff. It's less snaps for all the linebackers, more snaps for the secondary. But it's working, BJ. You take away that first drive from Wazoo last week. Other than that, man, that defense was stout. They were playing well. And Eric Shenander and Spencer Danielson deserve a lot of credit.
All right, Alec G chiming in with our next voicemail here on the Signature Roofing voicemail. What do you got, Alec G?
Hey, BJ. I'm calling in today to talk about Maddox Madsen. I think he's catching way too much flack and not enough credit from Bronco Nation. You know, he's got the hardest job in sports, and he's the only person in a room of 5 or 6 who is deemed capable enough to be Boise State's starting quarterback. And I know we have a guy behind him who has a lot of potential, but in my opinion, that's the worst word you could describe somebody with, because it means that they are not there yet. You know, playing quarterback at this level is really hard. Maddox Madsen is responsible for the play calling and for the pre-snap decision making. Hey, are we going to run things this way or that way? And I know we have a generational talent in the backfield, and it takes away from Maddox Madsen a little bit. But he's done a great job not turning the ball over, getting the ball where it needs to go, and setting us up in positions to win football games. And I think needs to be given where credit is due.
All right, Alec G, his thoughts on Madsen. Only been sacked, I think, twice all season. Doesn't have a lot of turnovers, but not great, gaudy passing numbers. It's a daily topic here, and obviously Dirk kind of didn't love Prater's question about the consistency with Madsen, but Spencer Danielson did say just got to be a little more consistent. And there were some open guys. Prince was open a couple times downfield and he missed them. And there's just he talked about the consistency, but I still don't think we're close to a spot, Johnny, when this team's winning and the offense, like you said, is top 10 in the country, where they're at all contemplating any kind of change.
Wait till he loses a game or two for you. It's going to have to be that, where you can absolutely 100% pinpoint that loss on quarterback play. They're not there yet. You can't say that about Oregon. Pin that crap on special teams. Don't give up 2 massive return touchdowns. I don't put that on the quarterback. I do disagree with that. I don't think Mad Dog's played well. I think he's been below average. And I tell stories for a living. And we tell stories in sports talk radio. This is storytelling. I would love to tell the story of Maddox Madsen, all conference caliber quarterback, leading this thing, making the perfect reads, throwing dimes, picking up big third downs on foot as well. I'd love to tell that story, but I can't tell it. The story I'm telling right now is you have a quarterback who's not completing 60% of your passes you'd like him to. You have a quarterback that's not running all that much on foot. I don't know if you'd like him to do more. He had a nice run last week and he fumbled. Luckily, Boise State fell on that. That would have been a disaster, because the one thing this quarterback cannot do is give the ball to the other team. And he's doing a terrific job getting the ball out, play calling spot on. He's not getting sacked at all. That is such a luxury. They're not behind the sticks with this guy. He's going to get better. The competition, in my opinion, will soften up. They've played, you could say, the toughest part of their schedule all year. A road game against an unfamiliar team, and then Oregon and Washington State. That's a tough first 3 games, or 3 out of 4 games for Boise State. But he has to play better. And there, you don't have anybody who's right on his tail, where, as far as we've been told and as far as we've seen, it feels like they're still a ways away. And Maddox gives them the best chance to win, and people need to trust the coaching staff that when he doesn't, they'll make a move. But right now, he still does. However, dude has to play better, man. Like, I've seen him at practice where the ball doesn't hit the ground. He's money. He's moving the chains. He's doing everything that we're like, okay, yeah. That if they get that quarterback play, they're not going to lose. And you come out in the game, and it necessarily doesn't go that way. But I think it'll get better. But BJ, it has to. I'm not ever going to call for a quarterback change until I absolutely see Mad Dog, 1-2 games in a row just screwing the pooch here. And I haven't seen that yet. But he needs to be better. Complete more passes. Get that efficiency up. Complete more third downs, more splash plays. Get maybe more receivers involved. Figure out a way to get Jeanty involved in the receiving game. Mad Dog, you want more passing yards? Let's get a couple more screens going and let Jeanty turn these into house calls like he did last year. He hasn't had 1 long reception yet. It's crazy. That's the one mind-boggling thing about Jeanty's stat line is his receiving stats, man. But they haven't needed it. But, Mad Dog's got to play better, BJ. Where are you on this with the quarterback deal here?
Well, we got two more voicemails just came in on Madsen, so everybody wants to talk about this, obviously. But I would say that he hasn't been spectacular, but I don't think he's holding them back at this point. I mean, you're a top 10 offense already. I don't think they'd be crazy at this point to make a change when you're one of the top offenses in the country and you're winning. So would I like to see Malachi? Would it be exciting to see what he could do? Yeah, but there's no guarantee he'd be any better than what Madsen is. And once you make the switch to Malachi, I think you're stuck with Malachi. You can't go back. You don't want to get into this 2 quarterback system. So I think Madsen right now is who the coaches say is the better option, and you have no choice but to trust him at this point. If they say he's the better option, he's the better option. Let's hear what Robert has to say on the Signature Roofing voicemail line. Robert, what do you got?
I just want to talk about Madsen a little bit. I know it's a huge topic on the show. I don't think Madsen is really that athletic. I know he has a hard job. Playing quarterback's a hard job for every team. But there's 5, maybe 6 quarterbacks in the Mountain West Conference that are better than him. All of them can pass better than him. They're all taller than him. And it seems like every time Madsen steps up into the pocket, he gets the ball batted right back down in his face. So I know you can't do anything this year, but next year they got to go get themselves a dual threat quarterback.
Well, you may have that in Malachi Nelson on the bench. I'm not sure you need to go get somebody else. Everyone wants to bring up his height, Johnny, and some of the passes that get batted down. And he's saying he's not very athletic. But again, he scrambled for a couple first downs in that last game. And like I said, I think he's only taken 2 sacks this season.
He's athletic, dude. I disagree with that. Maddox is athletic. I mean, that is one thing I'm not going to argue on. I've seen the kid. He's an athletic dude. Absolutely.
One more voicemail. BSU Bill came back in with a thought on the quarterbacks.
Hey, BJ. Another thought here, take on Madsen and the quarterback situation. Here's the reality fans need to realize. It's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. For those that want Madsen gone or think we should start Malachi, the only way you're getting that is if we start losing games, which nobody wants. I mean, I agree. I think Madsen has looked pretty average, I think is a fair way to put it to date. He's done nothing to quell any sort of QB controversy or murmurs or fans saying they want Malachi, because again, he just hasn't played well enough to silence that. Now, he hasn't played bad enough to lose us games, but he certainly isn't offering any sort of exciting ceiling that can help win us games. However, here's the thing. Next 2 games, you got Utah State, you got Hawaii. These are bad teams. These are bad defenses. I'm still willing to give Madsen these next 2 games to kind of get his footing, get the momentum going, get the receivers in the room and play. That's also something else we should be worried about. Receiver morale, I think, is probably pretty low. Can't blame those guys, right? They're not getting any balls, but I think fans got to realize you want Madsen gone. The only way he's going to be pulled is if we're losing games, and nobody wants that. So certainly, want to give him a little more patience here, but I also think at the same time he hasn't done enough to where if fans are saying they want to see Malachi, that's some sort of ridiculous take. Thanks.
Appreciate it, BSU Bill. I agree. They're not making a change until they lose, Johnny. The problem is when you lose, you're out of the CFP probably. For me, it's kind of a tough spot there because you're going to wait till you lose probably to pull them. But when you do lose, comes with some pretty big consequences. But I get it. It's the quarterback situation, but frankly, I don't think it's even a huge you guys are wanting to ask about it and talk about it, and you're calling in about it, so we're going to play it and talk about it. But I think there's tons of other bigger stories on the team right now. Maddox Madsen is not close to losing his job.
No, he just needs to play better. And let's go. Let's get him to play better. Complete more of his passes, get less passes tipped, make better decisions, move the chains, don't turn the ball over, don't get sacked. And this team can go a far ways, in my opinion. It's going to get better every week. These guys are working hard. They're practicing. They're putting new stuff in. They're watching more film. I mean, they get better as the season goes if they stay healthy, and they will. And my gosh, if the quarterback play is what it is and it's over 500 yards, you rank 7th. Only 6 teams in America are doing more than you are per game offensively. Come on, man. This is fun. This is good. Let Maddox get a little bit better. If he doesn't, then let's continue to have this conversation. But right now, I still hold out hope that you have not seen the best of Maddox Madsen. He needs to get better, and I think he will.
So what do you make of the second part of that comment about the wide receivers maybe getting a little upset? I mean, that was a topic with Dirk Cutter yesterday. And again, Prince Strawn, 3 catches this season. Austin Bolt hasn't done a whole lot. And Strawn has been open at times. They're not throwing it to him, not finding him. They're a run-first team, so there's not a lot of opportunities to begin with. And then there's 4 or 5 receivers that all want those opportunities. What's the challenge like for Matt Miller and Dirk Cutter and company here?
Hey, be really excited to block for Ashton Jeanty, huh? We need you down there. Got to get those corners, those safeties blocked. Jeanty needs your help.
What's Matt Miller's slogan? Go block for your buddy.
Yep. Go block for your buddy. That's what we're asking you to do here. And Matt Lauder's probably going to have more targets than all the receivers, right? They really like this Lauder thing. I don't see that lessening unless, of course, teams are going to scheme defensively against the tight end. And I think they have a lot of other problems to scheme against this offense than to focus on Matt Lauder. Receivers, the position too. They're all, I'm not saying Boise State's are, but just generally, the diva, they're babies. Whenever there's a player in the NFL that's demanding to be traded, it's like always a wide receiver. And it's like sometimes they just don't get like 7 things have to go perfect for you to even get the ball your way. So a bunch of stuff that happens. This isn't 7-on-7. And that's the problem with the AAU culture. They all play 7-on-7 where they throw 80 times and all of them get their 12, 10, 15 targets a game and it's fun and all this. Then you go and you play and you're like, it's got to be frustrating. This is Austin Bolt's 5th year at Boise State. He's still only a junior, and he's got 2 passes, and he doesn't really get looks. That's got to be frustrating. Prince Strawn, absolutely. I don't know. But again, if it's not Prince and Bolt, if they are getting the looks, then are we saying this about Cam Camper or Chase Penry or Chris Marshall, whatever? I don't know. There's not enough balls to go around for these guys, and we'll see what happens. Something will probably happen. I don't think you're keeping everybody, whatnot, but this is a running team. They're averaging over 500 yards a game, and if 2, 3, 4 receivers are a little upset that they're not getting their targets, I don't think that's a problem that Spencer Danielson and Dirk Cutter care enough to address.
Final thing for you, Johnny. I'll keep the show going for a while because I got nothing to do, but I know you got to get rolling here. But final thing, Brett McMurphy did just come out with a report. I believe Ross Dellinger as well. The Pac-12 has decided to pause adding further teams at this point while they complete a media rights evaluation. So they're going to take who they have, take some potential additions, find out what they're worth. The process could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. There are several schools continuing to reach out with interest in joining the Pac-12, but the league is not currently negotiating with any schools about membership. So at least whether it's a bluff with Memphis, I don't know. But right now, Pac-12 saying we're taking a step back and they're going to evaluate things and potentially no news on that next team for a couple of weeks or months here.
Yeah, I don't know if that means Memphis is still saying no, or if the Pac-12 for whatever reason isn't interested right now, or maybe they're just bluffing. Like you said, the Pac-12 wants to act like maybe, they're not going to show Memphis how much they want them, that type of deal, because negotiations have to be made.
Boise said maybe Memphis said, go get a quote and come back to us. Maybe they're going to find out from Memphis how much they can make for him.
Maybe that's true as well. I'm really excited about this new Pac-12. I know you and Jay talked about it yesterday, and for basketball geeks out there, I am one of them. I love college basketball. I cannot wait to follow and cover and just be a fan of Pac-12 basketball and some of those games. They're going to be massive draws for all those institutions. I mean, Gonzaga is a huge boost basketball. I mean, BJ, that's easily a top 10 basketball program in America. You could probably argue them into the top 5 or 7 as well. You could probably say for any team that has not won a national championship in basketball in the last 25 years, who's been more successful? Probably nobody other than Gonzaga for a team that hasn't cut down the final nets. They've been close to national championship appearances, haven't been able to get it done, BJ, but you add that type of firepower, national relevance. People watch Gonzaga. They follow Gonzaga everywhere. College basketball fans pay attention to that program. Now, I mean, we know how big that's going to be. I'm really excited about that league. We'll see who else they add, but I think they're doing a terrific job so far. I'm interested. Absolutely.
What do we got on Idaho Sports Talk today?
What do we have on Idaho Sports Talk today? Do you know that Justin Wilcox and Cal, they're getting game day this week? Did you see that?
They were one of the 5 or 6 schools that never got to host it. They're checking it off the list.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. We're going to check that off for them on game day, talking about Cal getting game day and going over the other teams, BJ, that have yet to host it. Pretty interesting list. Your Kansas Jayhawks are not on there. You guys have hosted game day last year.
Last year, yep.
Yes.
Our shout out to our man Barry Werner, the owner of the James. He is going to that Cal game. He's
huge Cal fan.
He's real close with Justin Wilcox. So Johnny, we'll be listening 3 to 6 today. Thanks for your time, man.
Appreciate you guys. BNN. See you tonight on Ball Talk.
8 o'clock Ball Talk tonight with Johnny and Mike Sanford. Don't miss that. We appreciate Johnny for jumping on. I'm going to keep this rolling for a little bit. If you got any other questions or comments or another voicemail you want to throw in, do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors real quick. TacoBellWorks.com. If you're looking for a job, Taco Bell is hiring. The Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores are hiring. So check them out online. You get free food while you work, half your wages the day after your shift, and great promotional opportunities, fun work environment. So if you're looking for a job, highly recommend Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. And again, SON Management, the Nicolason family doing great things. We appreciate their support. Speaking of jobs, Transportation Compliance Service is signing folks up to get into the trucking industry. 50 new accounts a day. Transcompservice.com. They're a Meridian, Treasure Valley-based company, helping folks all over the world get into the trucking industry. So check them out online, transcompservice.com. The Blue and Orange Store. It's an orange out. You got your orange gear, your orange jersey, orange shirt, orange sweatshirt. Got to wear orange for the game on Saturday. What do you guys think about the uniforms? I posted a couple of pictures to Twitter today. Blue helmet, orange jersey, blue pants. Let me know what you think of the uniforms. They got the blue Broncos, or the Broncos script on the blue helmets, the retro helmet kind of. This was a common worn uniform back in the Dirk Cutter head coaching days. Last worn on Kellen Moore's senior day, I believe, in 2011. So let me know what you think. But the blueandorangestore.com, Travis Hawks and Company, all your jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, all your Boise State gear. I know you got a lot of options, but the Blue and Orange Store is the best prices, the best selection, and we highly recommend the Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. Ahmed Hassanin, I'm going to tell you a story about this in a second. I may wait till tomorrow's show so I don't give it away. But 91 cent gets you a sack, gets you a soft drink or coffee when Ahmed Hassanin gets a sack at Jackson's. So 91 cents for a coffee or fountain drink at Jackson's. Make sure you check them out, Jackson's. And again, 25% from every hot dog sold in the Treasure Valley Jackson's locations goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective. So next time you go into Jackson's, you see those hot dogs sitting there, you buy one, a quarter goes to the Horseshoe Collective, and that adds up over time. So we appreciate Jackson's, and they sponsored Riley and Rid last night. One of the best episodes yet. David Shields, Derek Schumann. If you missed Riley and Rid last night, highly recommend going back and checking that out. It's on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. But David Shields, Derek Schumann telling some great stories from that first Fiesta Bowl game and year, and a lot of great stuff last night. One of my favorite episodes. They keep getting better. So Riley Smith, Kent Riddle, they bring on special guests every Tuesday telling stories and reminiscing, and I highly recommend going back and checking out Riley and Rid last night. That's available on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. Somebody's asking about game day going to Vegas. That cannot happen because the game is on Friday night. So it could be one of the biggest games in college football of the weekend, but it's already set for Friday night on CBS Sports Network. So it should get a lot of eyes. It's going to be a late night game. It'll be the only game in the country on, I believe, that night at that time slot. So a lot of eyes will be on Boise State and UNLV. It's an 8:30 Mountain Time start, 7:30 in Vegas. So there'll be a lot of eyes, but they cannot have game day because game day is on Saturday morning, and they won't do it on a Saturday if the game's already happened on a Friday. So that is kind of a bad beat. But no, the game cannot be moved to Saturday. It's locked in for CBS Sports Network on Friday, and you can't, 3 weeks before the game, move the day of the game. That's not how it works. So it's that game is stuck and locked in on Friday, unfortunately, Logan. Sorry to let you know about that. I have a picture here of the uniforms. I'll just hold this up here. These are the uniforms that Boise State's going to be wearing. There's the hat, the script logo on the helmet, and the jersey. And then there's the full get up there. This is Matt Lauder showing this uniform combo here. So the blue, orange, blue is the uniform combo. I put that on the my Twitter account, so you can go check that out. But it's a interesting combination. Not sure if I like it or not, but it's definitely different. I'll just say that. So my kids are going to the game on Saturday. That'll be their first game of the season. So looking forward to my kids going with some friends and having fun there. Again, 5:00 game. So we'll be live at the James Kitchen and Bar around 2:00 around 2 o'clock. We'll be live with the pregame show from the James Kitchen and Bar. So come on down. We'll be outside on the front patio, 2 o'clock. Come join us. We'll be giving out some Horseshoe Golden Ales. We'll be having some fun, hanging out, talking to fans. So come hang out, have a beverage, listen to the show, ask a question, and we'd love to see you again Friday at 2 o'clock, or excuse me, Saturday at 2 o'clock for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from the James. As Johnny said, don't forget tonight, Ball Talk, Sanford and Johnny tonight, 8 o'clock, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. Come on back tonight, and if you can't watch it live, make sure you watch it later. But lots of good college football and Boise State talk with Mike Sanford and John Mallory. That is tonight at 8 o'clock. On Bronco Nation News. And Brad Bedell got moved to tomorrow. So Brad switched with Johnny. There was a scheduling conflict. So Brad will be on at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Brad Bedell, 9 a.m. tomorrow, talking Boise State football and his thoughts on Ashton Jeanty and everything else that is going on in the world of Boise State football. So, again, the news coming out this morning, the Pac-12 is going to pause. Not going to add a team right now. At least that's what the reports say. They're going to do some work on their media evaluation and maybe kind of see what different teams would be worth in terms of money, and then kind of decide who they would like to go try to get at that point, which makes a lot of sense. Find out what Memphis is worth. Find out what, dropping down to a Texas State or a UTSA is worth. Find out what adding an FCS school is worth. Do all your, homework, find out the answers to all that stuff, and then make your decision and go back to those schools and say, yeah, this is how much money we're going to get because we talked to these people and you're worth this much, and that means our deal's worth this much. So I think it makes sense. It's smart. I know everybody, myself included, want to know who that next team is right now, but you don't have to have the 8th team until 2026. So they've got some time to try to find the team that they think fits, the team that they think is the best at this point. So Mike Prater's column is up. I've got a story coming later tonight or tomorrow. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the Horseshoe Collective has a program going on right now where you can make a donation, and every time Boise State's defensive line gets a sack, the money goes to the players, the defensive line. And it started with the former defensive line. The former defensive line players, Sam McCaskill kind of spearheaded this. They all got together and pooled some money, and it was $600 per sack. And the way this is allowed and not be pay for play is the money is divided evenly amongst all 20 defensive linemen on the roster. And it doesn't matter if you're a walk-on, if you're a scholarship player, if you've never played a snap, if you played every snap, if you have no sacks, 20 sacks, every player, Ahmed Hassanin, gets the same amount of money as the walk-on freshman that hasn't played yet. So as long as it's even for everybody, they go do an event after the season at the Idaho Food Bank, and that's an NIL event, and then they get their money. So I looked into the numbers. Right now, each player on the defensive line is making over $400 because they have 11 and a half sacks from defensive linemen times the $700. They were at $600. They've gotten some more pledges. It's up to $700 now per sack for the defensive line. So you can still make pledges. You can email Horseshoe Collective Intern at gmail.com, Horseshoe Collective Intern at gmail.com, and you can pledge a dollar figure, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever you want, per sack from the Boise State defensive linemen. And then each time that sack happens, that money gets divided evenly amongst the 20 players on the defensive line. As I said, they're over $700 now for the Horseshoe Collective for a sack. And then that gets divided. So every sack a defensive lineman gets means $35 right now to each player on that defensive line. So they had that stat correction. They changed that tackle for loss to a sack for Braxton Feely and Ahmed Hassanin the other day after the Washington State game. It put them from 7 to 8 sacks. Well, that stat correction gave each defensive lineman another $35 because that was another $700 for a sack. So there's going to be more information on that on Bronco Nation News. My article, I talked to Ahmed Hassanin about it, and Joe Nickel from the Collective. That'll be out tomorrow morning because today we got Mike Prater's column front and center at BroncoNationNews.com. So again, $50 for a whole year. BNN 50 deal is the promo code. We hope you can subscribe. You can read Prater's column. You can read all of my work. I'll have another preview story looking at conference play on Friday. And then obviously all of our post-game coverage coming after the game. But stories, Mike Prater's columns, a daily email, all kinds of stuff. And it's only $50 for 366 days of coverage. Yes, we give you a free day for your 1-year subscription. So typically it's $70 a year. We give you the first year for $50 if you use BNN 50 deal promo code. We're trying to get to 1,000 paid subscribers. So if you can help us out, we'd really appreciate it. And it allows us to pay for John Mallory and Brad Bedell and Mike Prater and Jay Tuss and all the special guests that you see on the various shows of BNN Live, Riley Smith, et cetera. So we have to pay those guys and have to pay Jaden Finch to help us out. We have to pay our travel expenses to go to Hawaii next week and the Cayman Islands for the basketball tournament and all the various road games. San Jose coming up later this football season. We are the only outlet that travels with both the football and basketball team on the road. So, aside from Bob Beeler and KTIK, who's calling the games, you won't get you won't find another outlet that travels to every football and basketball game. No TV station, no newspaper, nobody else in town puts in the budget and the amount of money to travel as Bronco Nation News. And I don't say that to gloat or to talk negatively about other people. It's just a reality and it's the truth. And so we travel more than anybody else, and that means more expenses than anybody else. So if you're able to help us out, $50, BNN 50 deal to help cover some of the travel costs and things and our expenses, that would be awesome. BNN 50 deal. And again, I think it's a very good value. You get Mike Prater's columns every week. You get my articles. I mentioned the daily email that Jaden sends out. You get a lot of great stuff. So appreciate all you guys that have already subscribed, and those of you that are on the fence. Hopefully Ashton Jeanty's start to the season can help push you over the top here and get you to subscribe. So BNN 50 deal. We got a cool announcement about another NIL deal associated with BNN and Signature Roofing that we will make on Friday. Looking forward to that. But I really appreciate you guys. We do have a lot of you watching on YouTube, over 200 of you right now, 213. So if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, that is free. So we would love for you to just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Like the video, help us show up higher in the algorithms, all those fun things. So like our videos, subscribe to our channel, share our videos, and help us out. Again, we do this every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Today we were a little late due to carpooling the kids to school, but 9 a.m. every morning, and we do pre- and post-game shows as well. So as I said, you're watching a free show on YouTube thanks to a lot of the sponsors you see back here. Taco Bell's another big one. So if you can support the sponsors, we'd really appreciate it. And again, take that picture, take that social media post when you support one of our sponsors and let us know so we can tag them and show them, and they can see that their advertising is working. So appreciate you guys. Another fun show in the books. We're reaching about an hour. So make sure you're listening 3 o'clock to Prater and Ball Game. And then 8 o'clock tonight, Sanford and Johnny with Ball Talk. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Brad Bedell here on Bronco Nation News. So thanks again from the Western Collective Studios. Again, Western Collective, make sure you check them out. That Orange Chaos Seltzer, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, both available now at Albertson Stadium on Saturday, or other local retailers as well. And I want to give a shout out to Alex Martin because today's Wednesday, so he's coming really soon to take care of our grass today. He's got a new phone number I want to give, but 208 Lawn and Landscape. Check them out, 208 lawnandlandscape.com. All your landscaping needs, but also if you're looking for a bounce house, they do a lot of bounce house rentals as well. We're looking at 208-571-5894, 208-571-5894, and it's 208lawnandlandscape.com. I believe the phone number's on there as well, but if you're looking for just a regular grass cutting, a sprinkler blowout, any kind of landscaping work done, Alex Martin, former Boise State basketball player, brother of Cam Martin, doing a tremendous job with 208 Lawn and Landscape. So check him out. Give him a call, 208 Lawn and Landscape. And again, he also rents out bounce houses, has kind of a side project. So if you're looking for a church function or a birthday party, highly recommend the bounce houses. Great rates if you tell them that you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. And again, that's Alex Martin, 208 Lawn and Landscape. Appreciate all the comments and things. Appreciate you for watching and sticking with us. And again, thank you so much as we come up on another anniversary on November 30th of Bronco Nation News. It's been a lot of fun, but can't do it without your support and your subscription. So BNN 50 deal if you're able to help us out for a 1-year subscription. And also make sure to take care of the sponsors and let them know you heard about it on BNN. Appreciate you guys. $50 for all, easy money for all this content. We appreciate it, Bronco 130. That means a lot. We think we provide tremendous value, and we try to give you different perspectives from Jay, from Prater, from Johnny, from myself, from Brad Bedell, from Kent Riddle, Riley Smith, Mike Sanford. We're building a nice little team here, and we appreciate it, but we can't do it again without your support. So subscribe if you can. Go support the sponsors. Tell them you heard about it on BNN. And at a minimum, you're watching a free show here on YouTube. So hit that like button down at the bottom of the screen. Hit the subscribe button here on the YouTube channel and help us out. Have a great rest of your day. Again, Ball Talk, 8 o'clock tonight. Brad Bedell and I at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And KTIK will help you from 3 to 6 get through the rest of the day as well. My name is BJ Rains. This is Bronco Nation News Live. Again, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All your concrete coatings, all your interior, exterior painting projects. There would be no Bronco Nation News without rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. So check them out and support the sponsors. And we will talk to you guys later. Another show in the books from the Western Collective Studios. Bronco Nation News Live here at bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by rowpaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.